Most young entrepreneurs fail by their own hand. They sabotage themselves with simple, avoidable mistakes. They think hustle alone will save them, but hustle in the wrong direction is just burnout on fast forward. If you don't address these mistakes, no amount of talent or hard work will get you to success. You'll be busy running in circles, wondering why nothing is working. Even the greats had to learn this. Steve Jobs nearly lost Apple because of his ego. He got fired from the company he founded at 30, in large part because he wouldn't listen. Arrogance cost him everything. Only after tasting failure did he embrace humility and teamwork, and that's when the comeback story began. And it's not just Steve. I almost quit my first business out of sheer loneliness. I was making no money and was too embarrassed to tell anyone. I tried to do it all alone. Don't do it alone because you'll probably fail. You'll quit along the way because it's too devastatingly lonely. And that early pain became my mission, to help others not feel that same pain. So maybe you're thinking, mistakes are just part of the journey. I'll learn as I go. And yes, mistakes can be great teachers, but only if they don't bankrupt your dream first. You don't need to stick your hand in the fire to know that it burns. Smart entrepreneurs learn from others' burns. So if you could skip the blunders that derail most people and fast track your growth, wouldn't you do it? I'm here to make it easy for you. So let's break down the biggest things not to do as a young entrepreneur so you can avoid the traps that catch everyone else. If you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Believe. Mistake number one. Trying to do it all yourself and not asking for help. Going lone wolf will sink you. The myth of the solo hero entrepreneur is just that, a myth. In reality, every great entrepreneur has had mentors, advisors, and a support network. Thinking you have to know everything and do everything on your own is the fast track to overwhelm and failure. And I learned this the hard way. For years, I struggled in silence. I made every mistake in the book until I finally swallowed my pride and asked for help. When I started asking for help and getting advisors, that's when I started to turbocharge my success. The moment I reached out, doors opened, answers appeared, momentum kicked in. Data also shows us. A UPS survey found that 70% of small businesses with a mentor survive past 5 years, double the survival rate of those without mentorship. So getting guidance literally doubles your chances of success. Why? Because mentors help you avoid landmines and shortcut your learning curve. They've been where you're going. They'll show you the potholes in the road ahead so you don't break an ankle falling into one. So don't buy the lie that asking for help makes you weak. It actually means that you're strong enough to value your success over your ego. Be coachably confident in your vision, but coachable enough to get input on how to get there. You can still be the captain of your ship and take advice from a navigator who sailed those waters before you. In fact, that's exactly what the best captains actually do. So remember, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who challenge you, and believe in you. That is how you supercharge your entrepreneurial journey. Mistake number two, waiting for perfect. Paralysis by perfectionism. Perfectionism kills your progress. So many entrepreneurs hold back their product, their launch, their dream idea because it's not perfect yet. They tweak and polish and obsess. Meanwhile, someone else with half the polish is out there executing and eating their lunch. A good plan, violently executed now, is better than a perfect plan next week. You learn more from one action than from 1,000 hours of just thinking about it. Here's an example. LinkedIn founder Reid Hoffman famously said, if you're not embarrassed by your first version of your product, you launch too late. Why would he say that? Because speed wins. By the time you've perfected version 1 in your head, the market has moved on. You're better off launching messy and fixing fast. So version 1.0 should make you cringe little. That means you finally put something real into the world. Now you have feedback. Now you have data. Now you have momentum. Now you can improve. But you can't improve what isn't out there. Perfectionism is really fear in a fancy coat. Fear of judgment, fear of failure. You might just be telling yourself, I've just got high standards, but often deep down, it's I'm scared it won't be good enough, so I'll keep tinkering and not putting myself on the line. Crush that fear. Accept that your first try won't be your best, and that's normal. Edison's first light bulb prototype wasn't his best, and neither will your first product or your first video or your first pitch. That's okay. Version 1 is supposed to be the worst it will ever be. You get permission to improve only after you start. So challenge yourself. Launch before you feel ready. Publish the app in beta. Start selling the service even if you're not 100% confident yet. As long as it delivers value, put it out and iterate. Action creates leverage. You'll gain experience and confidence by doing, not by waiting. The young entrepreneur who acts will always beat the one who is still polishing their perfect plan in the shadows. Done is better than perfect. Mistake number 3, chasing money instead of mission. So money is a means, it's not the end. A huge mistake is starting a business just to make a lot of money. Ironically, it almost guarantees that you won't make a lot of money, at least not in a fulfilling, sustainable way. Why? Because when money is your sole driver, you'll cut corners, you'll burn out or quit as soon as things get tough, and things will get tough. The entrepreneurs who thrive are driven by mission, by passion, by a desire to solve a real problem. The money follows purpose, not the other way around. So making money is great, and it has to be in your top 5. It just can't be number 1. If impact is your number 1 and money is number 3 or number 4, guess what? You'll actually stick with it long enough to see the money. Revenue enables your mission, but the mission is what keeps you motivated through the grind. When your heart is in your work, you'll outlast and outperform the guy who's just in it to make a quick buck. So take Mark Zuckerberg. At 22, he turned down a $1 billion offer from Yahoo to buy Facebook. $1 billion. Every advisor told him to take the money and run, but he refused, saying, I don't know what I do with that money. I kind of like the one company I already have. He believed in Facebook's mission to connect people more than he cared about cashing out. And that long-term vision paid off in a company worth hundreds of billions today. If Zuck's goal was just to get rich quick, he'd have sold. And Facebook as we know it wouldn't exist. Chasing money leads to short-term thinking. You'll hop from trend to trend, product to product, always looking for the next payout and end up with nothing real to show. So instead, chase a problem to solve. Chase a change you want to make. I started my channel not to get rich, but to solve the problem that I faced as a young entrepreneur. Lack of guidance. I struggled to get my business off the ground, and what saved me was studying how famous entrepreneurs went from 0 to 1. I built something to make the journey easier for others like you, fueled by passion, and eventually the money came as a byproduct of delivering real value. So put mission first, money second. Ask yourself, if you'd never make a dime from this, would you still be drawn to do it? Find that kind of purpose. And of course, you need to make money. This is business. But make money to further your mission, not the other way around. When you prioritize service and impact, you create something worth paying for. Customers and investors can sense the difference. A mission-driven entrepreneur is magnetic. A money chaser is just another salesperson. So focus on building something that actually makes a difference. Solve a problem you deeply care about. Do that, and the money will find you, and you'll actually enjoy the journey, not just the destination. Also, if you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you. It covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write your biggest takeaways, and helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just click the link in the description to go grab it. I'll see you there. Mistake number 4, thinking you know it all, never staying humble. So the moment you think you have all the answers is the moment that you stop growing. Young entrepreneurs often feel they have to fake confidence and act like they're always right. After all, it's your baby, it's your vision. But falling in love with your own ideas and ignoring feedback is a recipe for disaster. Pride blinds you to your weaknesses. It alienates your team, your mentors. It keeps you from adapting. So in business, adaptability is everything. And adaptability requires humility. So let's go back to Steve Jobs. Early on, he was notoriously brash and dismissive. By his own admission, success knocks at the door with arrogance. And that arrogance led to mistakes and strained relationships that got him fired from Apple. He had to be humbled before he could lead one of the greatest turnaround stories ever. Steve said it himself years later. All of us need to be on guard against arrogance, which knocks at the door whenever you're successful. And he's right. Success can trick you into thinking that you are invincible. But the best entrepreneurs stay students. They remain curious, open to being wrong, hungry to improve. In fact, humility is a superpower in entrepreneurship. Studies show that humble leaders are more effective and high performing, both as individuals and in teams. Why? Because humble entrepreneurs, they listen, they ask for feedback, they empower others to contribute ideas, they admit what they don't know, and then they go and learn it. When you're humble, you build a culture where the best ideas win, not just your idea. Your employees will be honest with you, your customers will feel heard, your business will innovate much, much faster. Being humble doesn't mean doubting yourself. It means respecting reality enough to know that you can always get better. It's saying, I believe in my ability to figure this out, but I also know I don't have it all figured out yet. It's the and mindset, confidence and openness. If a piece of feedback stings or you catch yourself dismissing a critique, pause and ask yourself, could they be right? Even just asking that question is a sign of strength. So ditch the invincible act, surround yourself with people smarter than you in different areas and actually listen to their advice. Encourage your team, even if it's just a team of 2 right now, to call you out when something's off. Embrace the idea that you're always under construction. Iron sharpens iron. Let yourself be sharpened. The more you learn, the stronger and more resilient your business will actually become. So stay humble, stay hungry, and you'll keep climbing. Mistake number 5, solving a non-problem, ignoring market needs. So don't build something that nobody wants. This sounds obvious, but you'd be shocked how many new entrepreneurs fall in love with an idea before checking if anyone truly needs it. They get excited about their product or their app. They pour time and money into it only to hear crickets when they finally launch. It doesn't matter how cool you think your idea is. If it doesn't solve a real pain point for customers, it will fail. In fact, a study of 100 startup postmortems found the number one reason for failure, noted in 42% of cases, was no market need. They tackled interesting problems instead of real pressing problems. Ouch. You are not the only market. You have to get out of your own head and validate your concept in the real world, and fast. Does your product or service meaningfully solve a problem that people know that they have? Are they actively searching for a solution? Would they pull out a credit card or jump through hoops to use what you're building? If not, back to the drawing board. As Inc.com bluntly said it, startups fail when they are not solving a market problem. If there's no real pain, there's no real point. So how do you avoid this mistake? Change your perspective. Fall in love with the problem, not your solution. Talk to potential customers before you build. Listen more than you pitch. Ask people about their biggest challenges in the space that you are interested in. Their answers might surprise you. The solution you thought they needed might miss the mark, and they'll point you towards a bigger issue that actually keeps them up at night. Adapt, iterate. Make sure you're scratching a real itch, not a hypothetical one. So my whole brand actually started from identifying a real need. I noticed that entrepreneurs that were like me didn't lack work ethic or ambition. They lacked guidance and belief. No one was showing how successful founders started, only how rich they were now. So I began sharing a lot of 0 to 1 stories and mentor-like advice for entrepreneurs who felt lost. And people resonated because I was filling a genuine gap. I solved a problem that I knew was real because I experienced it too. And that's a great litmus test, right? You're solving a pain that you've personally felt. Chances are other people feel it too, but you need to validate it. So do your homework. Don't be the entrepreneur who's building the next big thing that nobody asked for. Be the entrepreneur who listens, who finds a burning problem and brings water to it. When you serve a true need, marketing becomes easier because people pull the solution out of your hands. Build what people need, not just what you want, and you'll truly earn your success. Mistake number 6, giving up too soon, lack of persistence. So the only guaranteed way to fail is to quit. Entrepreneurship is hard, so I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Many young founders expect to strike gold in a few months, and when success doesn't just happen fast, they get discouraged and they fold. So don't let that be you. Overnight success is a myth. Behind every overnight win are years of grind and countless failures. The young entrepreneur who sticks it out when others would quit is the one who ultimately breaks through. So look at James Dyson. He spent 15 years and over 5,000 failed prototypes building his revolutionary vacuum. 5,126 times he tried, he failed, and learned. So imagine the amount of grit that takes. Most would have given up after 5 or 50 or 500 tries, but Dyson, he kept going. And on the 5,127th try, he changed vacuum forever and built a billion-dollar company. If you fail once, you're one step closer to success, Dyson said later. That is the mindset of a winner. Every failure is just data. It's a lesson. It's a step forward. And my story is no different. I spent my first year on YouTube. I didn't blow up. I got 3 comments on my first video total. One from my mom, one from my sister, and one from some random stranger. And a lot of people thought, wow, this isn't working, right? Nobody cares. And they could give up right there, but not me. I treasured that one stranger's comment. It was proof that it was working, at least for one person, that I was reaching someone. And it just fueled me to keep going. I kept making videos when almost nobody was watching. I slowly got better. I slowly built an audience for years. As an introvert, it was scary. And today, over 4 million subscribers, over 50 people on the team, and impact worldwide because just not stopping at mile 1 of a marathon. Persistence is the great equalizer. You might not be the smartest or have the most resources, but you can choose to be the one who doesn't quit. I mean, research shows that grit, which is the mix of passion and perseverance, is a better predictor of success than IQ. It's that powerful. When you keep going, you turn yourself into a force of nature. Obstacles everywhere bow to the person who just won't quit. Competitors fall away because they get tired, yet you're still in the game. You learn so much from each setback that you come back stronger until one day you figure it all out. So if you're in the messy middle right now, maybe sales are low or you've had a bad launch or you're just tired, just don't quit. Rest if you must, but don't quit. Remember why you started. Remember that every big success story could have been a failure if the founder walked away too soon. You are literally one idea, one pivot, one phone call, one more month of perseverance away from a breakthrough. And so treat every setback as temporary. Ask, what is this here to teach me? Adjust and just press on. As long as you're still in the game, you haven't lost. Stay in the game. And mistake number 7, losing focus and alignment, or shiny object syndrome. Not all opportunities are good opportunities. When you're young and you're hungry, it's tempting to say yes to everything, every partnership, every side project, every idea that glitters. You feel like you need to chase every shiny object or you're gonna miss out. But spreading yourself too thin or veering off in different directions, that's the silent killer. Each small misalignment, a project that doesn't really fit with your vision, a client that isn't ideal, but you take it for the money, a favor that overextends you, they all start to add up. Ignoring small misalignments leads to bigger issues. It gets worse and worse until there's a breaking point. You don't want to reach that breaking point. Instead, be ruthless about your priorities. Know your mission, know your values, know your plan, and use them as a filter. If an opportunity comes and your gut says, this doesn't feel right, trust that. And now, I admit, I used to say yes just to avoid disappointing people, whether it was off-brand or even a cup of coffee that I didn't want. It sounds minor, but every time I said yes against my intuition, I ended up on a path that didn't fit, and my productivity and my happiness suffered. Now I've learned to say no much more boldly and quickly when something isn't aligned. And guess what? The more I leaned into the right things and said no to the rest, the more my business exploded in the right direction. Amazing things happen when you lean in on the right intuition. Focus is a force multiplier. A laser, by focusing a light, can cut through steel. Your vision, when focused, can cut through obstacles that would stop a diffuse, scattered effort. On the other hand, if you chase 5 rabbits, you catch none. The world's top entrepreneurs typically had one core thing they nailed before expanding. Zuckerberg focused on Facebook, not 10 different startups at once. Bezos focused on books and customer experience in Amazon's early days, not on cloud computing and groceries and space travel all at the same time. Those came later after nailing the core. So guard your time and energy like precious resources, because they are. Before saying yes to anything, ask, does this serve my mission? Does this take me closer to my goal, or is it a distraction? If it's not a heck yes, it should probably be a no. This will be hard at first. You might worry about missing out, but trust that by saying no to 100 small, off-track things, you can say yes to the one big thing that truly matters, and that can change everything for you. Stay aligned with your purpose, and success will align with you. So, you now know what not to do, so you can focus on what to do with clarity and confidence. Remember, being a young entrepreneur isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to learn and the persistence to keep going. You, right now, you showed up today and invested in yourself. That already sets you apart. So keep building your dream, one step at a time. Keep believing in your ability. Keep showing up, even when it's tough. And I want to acknowledge you for sticking with this and striving to grow. That's the mindset of a winner. So congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. Believe. Now let's learn the 7 habits to make this year your best year ever. Success this year for you comes down to one thing: your habits. Most entrepreneurs say they want the best year, but then do the same things as last year. If you change nothing, nothing changes. In fact, if you coast through this year, you'll wake up next year with nothing but regrets. Research with dying patients found that many stayed stuck in old patterns and habits out of a false sense of comfort. They pretended they were content, where deep down they longed for more. Don't let that be you. Think of the famous story of the elephant and the rope. A massive elephant is held by a tiny rope tied to its leg. It could break free at any time, but it doesn't even try. Why? Because as a baby elephant, that rope was enough to hold it. It tried and failed back then, so now it believes that same rope can still hold it forever. It's not the rope stopping the elephant, it's the belief that the rope is stopping it. I know how that feels. Let me take you back to when I was 22. I was about to graduate university and had a choice: take a six-figure dream job in banking or join a startup and make $300 a month. Everyone told me, take the money. But I fast forwarded in my head. I imagined being 40, looking back, and I knew I'd regret not giving the startup a shot. I literally said to myself, when I'm an old man, I'll regret that I didn't keep going. I'd rather know and fail than not know. So I turned down the job and went for the startup. It was risky, it was scary, and it was one of the best decisions of my life. Not because it was easy, it wasn't, but because it taught me to bet on myself instead of playing safe. Maybe you're thinking, that's great for you, Evan, but I'm not sure I can do it. I've tried changing and failed. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. If that doubt is in your head, I want you to remember that elephant. That doubt is just a tiny rope. It held the old you, but it doesn't have to hold the new you. Just because you failed before doesn't mean you'll fail forever. Failure is training, not your verdict. You can break free. You can change your habits starting now. So let's cut that rope and get you moving. All right, no more excuses. Let's get into the 7 habits that will make this year your best year yet. And stick with me, because if you apply these, I promise you will feel the change. Habit number 1, win your morning, win your day. Stop hitting that snooze button. The first thing you do each morning sets the tone for your entire day. If you start by snoozing, what are you really doing? You're telling yourself, my goals can wait. The first thing you do every day is tell yourself it's okay to not hit your goals when you hit snooze. Successful people don't start their day procrastinating. They start with intention. So here's what you're going to do. Carve out a powerful morning ritual. It doesn't have to be long. It just has to be intentional. For me, I start every day by feeding my mind with something positive. I watch an inspiring video, a lot from this channel, to get my belief pumping. Then I create a quick post on my Instagram stories sharing a message with you guys. Why? Because it fuels me. That sets me up for the day. I want to create something every day that I'd be proud for my grandkids to see. So find what fuels you. Maybe it's reading a chapter of a motivational book, doing a quick workout, journaling your goals, and make it a non-negotiable morning habit. Science backs this up. A solid morning routine can increase your energy, productivity, and positivity and build momentum for the day. When you win the morning, you win the day. Tomorrow morning, instead of reacting to the alarm with dread, jump out of bed with purpose. Even if it's 15 minutes earlier than usual, use that time to focus on you. No phone, no emails, just something that builds your mindset or skills. And trust me, starting your day with intention rather than reacting will change everything. You'll feel more in control, more confident, and more motivated to crush whatever comes next. Habit number 2, curate your environment for greatness. You can't plant a seed in toxic soil and expect it to grow, right? In the same way, you can't achieve big goals while drowning in negativity and distractions. Your environment, the people you hang out with, the content that you consume, the spaces that you work in, is either lifting you up or pulling you down. There's no neutral state here. So it's time to take control of it. Start with what you consume every day. Social media, TV, news. If you scroll Instagram or Twitter and end up feeling like crap, that's a problem. How many times do you go through your phone and spend an hour on Instagram and feel worse about yourself than when you started? Probably too often. The solution? Curate your feed. Now, I do this myself. I only follow people that inspire me. My YouTube, my Instagram is great. I'm not following people who are out there spreading negativity. As soon as something negative appears, I swipe away. I am trying to engineer my online environment for boldness and belief, not negativity and doubt. You can do the same. Unfollow the haters, the cynics, the drama that doesn't involve you. Follow people who are where you want to be, who are sharing their knowledge, who make you feel energized. And this goes beyond social media. Look at your real life circle. Are the people around you supportive or skeptical about your dreams? Jim Rohn said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And he's right. If your friends are complaining and playing victim all day, guess what? You'll start doing the same. But if you're around the go-getters, mentors, Believe Nation members here who lift you higher, you'll rise to their level. It's proven. Even emotions are contagious in groups. One Harvard study showed that seeing positive posts on Facebook actually made people feel more positive, and seeing negative posts made them negative. We catch mindsets from each other. So, audit your environment ruthlessly. Design it for success. Clean your workspace if it's cluttered and stressing you out. Put up a picture or quote that inspires you when you look at it. Maybe you need to spend less time with that always negative cousin and more time in a mastermind group or with fellow entrepreneurs who push you forward. Remember, you are the gatekeeper of what gets into your head, so protect it. When you surround yourself with positivity, ambition, and solutions, you automatically show up as a better version of you. Habit number 3, flex your discipline muscle daily. Successful entrepreneurs aren't magically more disciplined. They've just trained that muscle, and you can too by doing one hard thing every day. The goal is to prove to yourself that you're in control, not your temptations or your fears. Each day is an opportunity to send yourself a powerful message that I am stronger than my excuses. Now, I have a little weird way of doing this. I literally keep a giant Costco-sized bag of Doritos on my desk. It's right there behind me, right? Sounds a little weird, right? It's there on purpose. Doritos are my kryptonite. I love them. And by all rights, I should throw that bag out just to avoid the temptation. But I do the opposite instead. I have a strategy that's called Damn the Doritos. Just by thinking about it, my mouth is watering as I'm talking. I could eat that whole bag right now, but I'm not. Every day that unopened bag taunts me, and every day I choose to look at it with self-control, my mouth is watering, I want to remind myself that I'm stronger than the Doritos. When I resist it, I get a little bit more confidence. The high you get of self-confidence to know that you're stronger than the Doritos is incredible. It's not about the chips. It's about training willpower. You don't need a bag of Doritos, but you do need a daily willpower workout. Maybe it's taking a cold shower every morning so you're toughening your mind. Maybe it's committing to do that one task that you hate, like a sales call or coding or whatever it is for you, for 30 minutes every day without fail. Pick something that you typically shy away from or is a temptation that you usually cave to and challenge it head on in a small way. My mouth is still watering from the Doritos. Psychologists have found that willpower is like a muscle. Use it regularly and it grows stronger. Even small, regular tests of self-control can boost your willpower over time. So give yourself those tests. Now, why is this so important? Because every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you do the hard thing when you could easily take the easy way out, you reinforce an identity. I am disciplined. I follow through. And that identity is gold. It motivates every other habit. When you know you can count on you, your confidence shoots through the roof. You walk into meetings, into sales calls, investor pitches, whatever, with a quiet strength because you've proven to yourself in private that you have self-control. So starting today, choose your hard thing and flex that muscle daily. It doesn't have to be something extreme, just consistent. Those tiny acts of discipline, day after day, will compound into an inner strength. Habit number 4, don't build alone. Get mentors and accountability. Entrepreneurship can be lonely if you let it, but success, it's a team sport. The smartest entrepreneurs actively seek help, feedback, and mentorship. They know that trying to do everything solo is a recipe for burnout and tunnel vision. As the African proverb goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Going far is the goal here. I had to learn this one the hard way. When I started out, I was stubborn. I thought I had to have all the answers myself. And when I didn't, I hid it. I was making no money in my first business, eating beans for lunch, struggling to survive, and I was too embarrassed to tell my friends or my family. I would lie and say, oh yeah, everything's good. I'm hustling. I'm living the entrepreneur life. Where inside, I felt like a failure. I mean, nobody likes to admit how much they suck, right? But that isolation nearly broke me. I almost quit on my dream because I was trying to do it all alone in silence. I eventually opened up and got guidance, and it saved my business. Don't do it alone because you'll probably fail. You'll quit along the way because it's too devastatingly lonely. That's the advice from my younger self to you. So what does this habit look like? It means building your support system. Find a mentor or a coach if you can. Someone who's a few steps ahead of you that can show you the ropes. If you can't get a one-on-one mentor, no problem. You can learn from virtual mentors, books, courses, videos right here. Believe Nation, there's a new video for you every day. Join a mastermind or a local entrepreneur group where people hold each other accountable. Even just one accountability buddy can 10x your progress. When you know someone will ask you, hey, did you do what you said you were going to do? You show up differently. In fact, entrepreneurs who connect with mentors are proven to perform better. One study found that 70% of small business owners with mentors survive beyond 5 years, double the survival rate of those who go alone. That's huge. Mentors literally double your chances of success. So if you're starting out and feel like, who would mentor me? Here's a tip. Model first, I'll cover that next, and serve where you can. Offer to help out someone that you admire, add value to them, intern or volunteer in their world. You'll learn just by being around them. And don't overlook peer mentors. Someone at your level who is just as hungry can still be a great accountability partner. The point here is to get out of your own head and get feedback and support from others. It will keep you sane, motivated, and on the track when the road gets rough. Every hero has a guide. You're the hero of your story, but you're not meant to do it all alone. Habit number 5, keep learning, model the best. Never stop being a student. The moment you think, I know enough, you started dying. Harsh but true. The world is evolving. Your industry is evolving. You need to evolve too. The quickest way to compress decades of learning into days is to model people who have already done what you want to do. Success leaves clues. Whatever goal you're chasing, someone out there has achieved something similar. So study them, copy the right things, and build on it. When I hit the lowest point in my first business, this habit is what saved me. Remember that startup that I chose? It was not all sunshine. I was making $300 a month. I felt like a total failure. I finally told my business partner I quit. I was done. But the next day I woke up and something clicked. I thought, someone has figured this out. Who has built a software company before? And Bill Gates was my guy. He's the first name that came to mind. I dove into young Bill Gates and how he built Microsoft from 0 to 1. I didn't care that he became a billionaire. I cared about how he started when he was just another kid with a dream. And I discovered something game-changing: partnerships. Gates landed a partnership with IBM that exploded Microsoft. But even before that, he grew through smaller partnerships. I thought, if partnerships got Microsoft from 0 to 1, maybe that's the key for us. So I copied it. I hustled to secure a partnership deal for our first startup, and boom, we got our first major break, a $13,500 deal with a UK distributor. For me, making $300 a month, $13,500 felt like $1 million. I went from drowning to breathing because I modeled success. And I tell this to entrepreneurs all the time now: find who solved your problem and learn from them. As I put it back then, Bill Gates had built a software company. I'm going to learn how he did it and apply it. That decision gave me hope and a roadmap. So make this a habit. Always be learning. Always be modeling. Read biographies, watch interviews, take courses, watch videos like this. If you have business idols, consume everything you can about how they think and how they operate. Don't just admire Elon Musk or Sarah Blakely or whoever. Study them. Emulate their mindsets and strategies that resonate with you. And read. There's a reason the average CEO reads around 4 to 5 books per month, while the average person barely reads 1 book a year. Leaders are learners. Every book or article or video is a mentorship session with the author. It's condensed wisdom for a few bucks or for free. Take advantage of that. The key here is consistency. Commit to a learning routine just like you commit to a workout. It could be 30 minutes of reading every day, or listening to podcasts during your commute, or taking an online class each month. Whatever it is, schedule it. Never be the smartest person in the room. If you are, you find a bigger room. Stay curious. Ask questions, seek feedback. The best entrepreneurs are always upgrading their skills and their knowledge. When you adopt this habit, you'll start noticing something pretty cool. You'll make better decisions faster. You'll spot opportunities and red flags that you used to miss. Why? Because you have a library of other people's experiences and insights in your head. That's your ultimate competitive advantage. Keep feeding your mind, and there's no limit to how high you can climb. Habit number 6, take action before you're ready. This habit is simple to understand, but hard to do. Less thinking, more doing. Planning has its place. Learning has its place, but nothing, and I mean nothing, beats taking action. So many aspiring entrepreneurs get stuck in analysis paralysis. They want the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect version of their product or service. Guess what? Perfect doesn't exist, and waiting for it will kill your dreams. You have to start before you're ready. You have to jump and grow wings on the way down. That's how real progress is made. One of my favorite expressions is version 1 is better than version 0. Your first attempt might be ugly, messy, even embarrassing, but at least it exists. You can improve something that isn't there. When I started my YouTube channel, I was not a natural on camera. In fact, I was awkward. It took me 350 videos. Yes, 350 videos before I felt slightly comfortable in front of the camera. Can you imagine if I had said, I'll start making videos once I'm good on camera? This wouldn't exist. Believe Nation wouldn't be here. I just had to post and post and post, even when the views were low and my delivery wasn't great. That's how I got better, by doing. After my first year on YouTube, I had 25 subscribers and my videos, frankly, kind of sucked. 5 years in, I had maybe a few thousand subscribers. Most people would have quit right there. Most people do quit too soon, as we've already talked about. But I kept going, kept improving 1% with each video, and then momentum kicked in. 10 years later, those 25 subscribers turned into millions. The channel grew beyond what I ever imagined, all because I kept taking action instead of overthinking. So I want you to adopt this mantra: progress over perfection. Action over analysis. This doesn't mean go be reckless. It means don't let fear of failure or imperfection paralyze you. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Each failure is just an iteration. Think of it like software. You're releasing beta versions of yourself and your business, and you're getting feedback and you're updating it. Every launch, every attempt, it's version 1, 1.1, 1.2, and so on. But you can't get to version 2.0 without that rough draft of version 1.0. Maybe you haven't started your podcast because you're worried it won't be as good as some top podcaster. Record it anyway. Maybe you're hesitating to launch your product because it's not as polished as you'd like. Launch it anyway. You can tweak and refine as you go. The market will give you feedback. Your job is to get in the game and adapt. You will learn 10 times more from doing than from thinking about doing. Action creates momentum, and momentum builds confidence and competence. It's a beautiful cycle once you're in it, but you have to break the inertia first. So whatever you've been putting off, that big idea, that next step, start now, today. It won't be perfect, and that's okay. You're going to learn, adjust, and get better. The greatest realizations, opportunities, and yes, even luck tend to come to those who are in motion. So get moving. Habit number 7, stay consistent and patient. Play the long game. Finally, if you want this year to truly be your best year, you must embrace the power of consistency. Greatness is achieved through daily practice and patience over time, not one-off spurts of effort. In a world obsessed with overnight success, you need to be the tortoise, not the hare. Be willing to put in the work consistently and trust that the results will follow, even if you don't see them immediately. I'll share 2 visuals that I love, one from nature and one from my own journey. First, nature, the Chinese bamboo tree, right? For the first 4 years, a Chinese bamboo seed sits on the ground with no visible growth. You water it, you nurture it, and nothing seems to happen. Year 1, nothing. Year 2, nothing. Year 3, nothing. 4, nothing. Most people would give up, dig up the seed in frustration. But in year 5, boom, this tiny shoot finally breaks through the soil and then grows 80 feet in just 6 weeks. 80 feet! It seems like an overnight explosion, but was it? No. It was years of invisible growth, of root spreading deep and wide, creating a foundation for that rapid rise up. If at any point you stopped watering, that bamboo would have died in the ground. Consistency and patience made the miracle happen. Your journey is the same. You may be putting in tons of work right now with little to show for it, but if you're laying the foundation, the breakout will come. Success is often building quietly on the ground until one day it shoots up for everyone to see. Now, in my journey, I already told you about my slow start on YouTube, 5 years to crack a few thousand subscribers. It was pretty demoralizing at times, but I kept reminding myself why I started: to help entrepreneurs. And I kept uploading videos every day, even when the growth was slow. Most people quit too soon. All I had going for me was I kept going. I just refused to quit. Eventually, the curve turned upwards. After those first 5 years of grinding, the next 5 years saw exponential growth. We crossed 100,000, then 1 million, now over 4 million subscribers. It looks like a huge jump, but it was really the compound effect of consistent effort. One video didn't do it. 1,000 videos did. One push-up doesn't get you fit. 100 push-ups a day over months does. Consistency isn't sexy, I get it. Doing the same small things every day can feel boring when you crave big results, but I promise you, this is exactly how big results are achieved. James Clear says, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Every small action, every small daily habit is like a penny that's doubling. It might not look like much today, tomorrow, even next week, but give it time and you'll see an astounding transformation. The key is to keep showing up, especially on the days you don't feel like it. Anyone can work hard when they're motivated. Warriors work hard even when they're not. So ask yourself, what's one or two critical things, if done consistently, that will move the needle most for your business or life? It could be making 5 sales calls every weekday. It could be writing 500 words for your book every morning. It could be posting one piece of content daily to build your brand. Commit to it and stick to it like clockwork. Put it on your calendar, track it, make it a non-negotiable. And while you're being consistent, practice patience. Trust the process. Remind yourself of the bamboo tree. Just because you don't see growth yet doesn't mean nothing's happening. So stay patient and keep watering those seeds. Most people will give up in the 3rd inning. You're going to be the one who's still playing strong in the 9th. That's why you'll win. Your future self will thank you a year from now for the habits you start today. These 7 habits are not quick fixes. They are identity shifts for you. They transform you into the kind of person who naturally achieves more, who inspires others, and who lives with purpose and confidence. You've got this. I believe in you. But more importantly, you're starting to believe in you too. You showed up here right now, today. You've invested in yourself right here today. That's the difference between someone who dreams and someone who does. So keep showing up, keep doing the work, and no matter how tough it gets, remember why you started. Your best year ever is in reach. It's time to grab it. And here's how to overcome self-doubt when it's your turn. Self-doubt is selfish. It whispers that you can't do it, and it tricks you into making it all about you. So think about it. When it's your turn to speak up, to pitch, to lead, and you freeze, who are you thinking of? You're focused on yourself, your fear, your image, your chance of messing up. Meanwhile, the people that you are meant to serve or inspire are left waiting. That's the cost of listening to your self-doubt. If you keep letting it paralyze you, opportunities will slip by, and someone with less talent but more courage will seize the moment instead of you. Your dreams will die while you stand on the sidelines, and that's a harsh truth, and I know you don't want that. Look at one of the richest, most successful entrepreneurs ever, Warren Buffett. Today, Buffett speaks to arenas filled with 40,000 people, but it nearly never happened. Why? He was terrified of public speaking. In his early 20s, just the thought of getting up in front of a group made him physically ill, literally. I was so terrified that I just couldn't do it. I would throw up. I arranged my life so I never had to get up in front of anybody, Buffett said. That is the man known as the Oracle of Omaha, a genius investor, and he was ready to orchestrate his entire career to avoid speaking to even a small crowd. But then he realized if he didn't conquer that fear, his business ambitions would go nowhere. So what did he do? He forced himself to face it. He enrolled in a Dale Carnegie public speaking course after chickening out once before. This time, he literally handed the instructor $100 in cash and said, "Take it before I change my mind." He knew he had to burn the boats, remove any escape route. In that course, Buffett learned something crucial. Get out of your own head. He realized if he could chat with someone one-on-one for 5 minutes before, there was no reason he couldn't talk to 5 or 50 people except his own mindset. And through practice and some psychological tricks, he reworked how he saw those nerves. When his palms got sweaty and heart was pounding, he trained himself to say, "I'm excited," instead of "I'm scared," turning anxiety into anticipation. And it worked. He calls that public speaking certificate the most important degree I have, more vital than his college degrees. Why? Because it set him free. It gave him belief. The man who once ran from every spotlight can now confidently hold court with tens of thousands. His fear was real, but he beat it. And because he did, the world got to benefit from his ideas. Now, you might say, okay, sure, Buffett did it. But Evan, do you know how crippling it feels when it's my turn? Listen, I do. People see me now on big stages and 4 million subscribers on YouTube and think that I was always confident. Nope. Let me take you back to one of the scariest moments of my life. I was invited to speak at an event in Whistler. And on the morning of, I found out the lineup. I'm going right after David Goggins and right before Peyton Manning. Goggins may be the most intense human on the planet, you know, the guy who runs on broken legs and inspires millions with his toughness. And Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, a literal living legend. And then me, in the middle. I'm reading that schedule and my heart stops. Imposter syndrome slams into me like a truck. I thought, what the heck can I possibly say? Why did they put me here? In that instant, I wanted to disappear. My confidence completely froze up. But this is my chance to shine. And every fiber of my being was saying, you don't belong on this stage. Maybe you should just get sick, skip out. It was that bad, that the exact kind of panic you feel when it's your turn and you're convinced that you can't do it. So how did I get out there and speak? I did 2 things. First, I flipped from selfishness to service. I literally told myself, why are you here? Not for your ego. You're here to help. There are people in that audience that need to hear from you. There's something that I can share that even David Goggins or Peyton Manning can't. Peyton knows football, but Peyton doesn't know YouTube. I do. I have unique value I can give to these people. I shifted focus off of me and onto them. So even if I wasn't the most famous name on the stage, I was there for a reason, to serve. Second, I refuse to run. This is a personal rule of mine. If something is scary, difficult, hard, and that's the only reason I want to say no, then I have to say yes. I don't want to be the person who runs some hard things. So in that Whistler moment, I asked myself, Evan, are you proud of the reason you're about to back out? And the answer was no. Feeling scared is not a good enough reason. So I squared my shoulders and I walked out of that stage, still shaking, but determined to give as much value as I could. Was I as intense as Goggins or as famous as Manning? No, but I poured everything into serving that audience and it went great. People came up to me afterwards and said my message hit them hard and it was exactly what they needed. If I had let my self-doubt win, I would have robbed those people of a message that could have helped them. And I would have robbed myself of a massive growth experience. Now, I got this question from one of our subscribers, Mr. Ballroom, who asked, when it comes to my turn, I get very, very worried. I feel like I can't do anything. That comment hit me because that was me before and it was Buffett and it was so many of us. Now you might be feeling the same way right now. Your big opportunity comes, all eyes are on you, and suddenly you're trembling, your mind goes blank, you're convinced you're going to fail or look foolish. You feel like you literally can't do anything. But that feeling is a liar. It's not that you can't do anything. It's that you haven't done it yet. You haven't learned the tools to push through that wall of fear. And that's what we're going to change right now in this video. Strategy number 1, do it because you're scared. The push. The first strategy is to use fear as your signal to act, not retreat. When your brain says, this is scary, maybe we should back out, you're going to tell yourself the opposite. Make it a habit. If the only reason you're hesitant is fear, then that is your green light. You go. No excuses. Why? Because every time you do the thing you're afraid to do, you teach yourself that fear doesn't control you. You control you. It's like a muscle. You build confidence by doing. Remember Buffett? He knew if he didn't sign up for that class, his fear would win. He had to do the scary thing or live a smaller life. He chose to do it. And each speech, he got a tiny bit better. By the end of the course, he wasn't throwing up anymore. He was actually pretty good as a speaker. But it only happened because he took action while still scared. Stop waiting to not be afraid. That's not how it works. Action is the antidote to fear. When you do the thing, you get evidence that your fear was exaggerated or just plain false. Even if you stumble, you survive it and realize, hey, that wasn't the end of the world. I'm stronger than I thought. Each win builds your identity just a little bit more. You become someone who faces things, not someone who flees. And that shift in mindset is everything. Now, I'm not saying go in blind. Preparation is great, but don't over-prepare as an excuse to never actually do the thing. You have to step onto the court and get in the game to get better at the game. Practice under pressure if you can. Science shows that practicing in conditions similar to the real performance improves your success in high-pressure situations. So rehearse your speech with a few friends as audience. Simulate that pitch in a setting that feels more real. You'll train your nerves to handle the pressure, the heat. The more you put yourself in game time situations, the more normal it becomes and the less scary it is. You think I magically stopped being afraid of big stages after Whistler? No, I stayed scared, but I kept speaking on more stages. Every new rep, I was a little less shaky, a little more confident. I went on to a 23 city speaking tour to purposely push my comfort zone. We did 23 cities in 90 days. I even fainted in Denver and broke my neck, and I still kept going. Why? Because I asked myself, am I proud of the reason to stop? And the answer was no. I wasn't going to quit just because it got hard. I put on my neck brace. This is a true story. It still sits there on my shelf there. I put on my neck brace and I continued to tour. You don't need to break your neck like I did. Please don't. But you do need that level of resolve. If fear is the only thing holding you back, then there is no way in hell that you're going to let fear win. Make that your mindset. Strategy number 2, focus on service, not yourself, the hug. This is the flip side of the coin. Your doubt loves to make you the star of a horror movie in your mind. The spotlight's on you when you're getting booed and laughed at, exposed. It's all me, me, me. It's time to get out of your head and put the spotlight where it belongs, on the people that you are serving. So here's what I do whenever I feel those nerves. I find one person to help. I'll literally meet someone in the audience beforehand or imagine a viewer who's struggling and I lock in on being useful to that one person. I ask myself, why are you getting on this stage, at this meeting, on this video? The answer is never for my big ego, right? The answer is to help. You have knowledge, experience, energy that can change someone's life or at least change their day. That's why you're here. Even if you're just pitching your startup to investors, don't think of it as I need their money and I'm begging. No, think I have an opportunity that's going to make their money grow and make customer lives better. I am here to give them a gift. See the difference? Now you're coming from a place of service and value, not insecurity and weakness. Evan Carmichael on stage in full ego mode is a disaster. Evan Carmichael on stage in service mode can do anything. And it's the same for you. Service mode kills self-doubt because your mind shifts from what do they think of me to how can I make them better? When I was freaking out about following Goggins and Manning, I calmed down by saying someone in this crowd needs my message. I might be the only person to hear it from in a way that makes it stick for them. Suddenly it's not about me anymore. It's about them. And I can't wait to help. Even if my voice cracks or I forget a line, if I connect with that one person who needs it, I've done my job. I literally tell myself, even if I suck, hopefully I can get through to a couple people today. My intention is to serve and to help. And that mindset shift is everything. At least it is for me. Try it. The next time you feel that wave of worry, consciously flip it. Focus on one face in the room, one person you know, or even your past self who needed someone to step up for them. Speak to that one person. Make it about delivering a message or an outcome that helps them, not about protecting your pride. Gratitude here can help too. Be grateful for the chance to touch someone's life rather than fearful of what they'll think. When you operate from service, authenticity comes out naturally. Your passion shows. And guess what? People respond to it. They don't care if you're not the most polished presenter, if they feel your heart and they receive value. Ironically, focusing on others also makes you perform better because you're not overanalyzing yourself in the moment. You become a conduit for a message instead of the victim of your own self-doubt. So hug the audience, figuratively, or even literally if it's appropriate, with your attention. Love on them. Give, give, give. You'll find there isn't room in your head for fear when your heart is full of service. Strategy number 3, reframe the story you're telling yourself. Self-doubt ultimately lives in your head. It's a story. It's a voice-over narrative that says, I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. I'm going to fail. To overcome it, you have to change the internal narrative in real time. To do that, reframe what failure means in that moment. A huge part of self-doubt is fear of failure or embarrassment. Okay, so let's play that out. What if you do stumble on your words, or your demo crashes, or you get a tough question that you don't know how to answer? In your head, that's a catastrophe. But in reality, it's just feedback. It's a lesson. If you fail in front of people, guess what? You survived, right? You might even get a laugh from the crowd and humanize yourself for a minute. Or you learn exactly what to improve the next time. Failure feels like it's final, like you're dying, but that's just your ego talking. It's actually growth. I recently did an interview with an entrepreneur named Alvin that fell apart due to tech issues, but it became one of the best stories and confidence builders. Why? Because we owned it instead of running. I told him the easiest thing to do was to not post it. This was an interview that he had tech issues. He was in an Airbnb. He was losing connection every 5 minutes. He would come in, ask the question, and then freeze, and I would answer the question. And then we just pretty horrible experience. And I was laughing at it. Like, I really hope that he posts his video because it's such a great example of moving forward when there's a lot of problems where most people would quit. So the confidence building thing to do is to make the best of what you've got and you keep going. He posted it, glitches and all. And it ended up being inspiring because it was real. We turned that failure into a win. Do the same thing with your fear. Decide that even if the worst happens, you'll figure it out and keep moving. Decide now that no failure is going to stop you. When you take away that fear of failure, self-doubt has nothing left to hold over you. Here's another powerful identity reframe. Stop saying I'm not a confident person or I'm just bad at public speaking. Don't attach those labels to who you are. They're not set in stone. Instead, you can tell yourself, I'm learning to be a great speaker, or I'm becoming the kind of leader who steps up. Do you recognize the difference? You're not stuck as one thing. You're always in progress if you want to be. You're the kind of person who grows. Every single time you face fear and you do it anyway, you are literally redefining yourself in your own eyes. You go from someone who doubts to someone who does, from someone who worries to someone who works it out. It doesn't happen overnight, but each decision is a vote for the new identity that you want in yourself. And you can borrow belief during that transition. Maybe right now you don't fully believe that you can be the bold, confident version of you. Cool. Borrow my belief in it until you get there. Borrow a famous entrepreneur's belief in it until you get there. I know you can do this. How? I've seen so many entrepreneurs, so many shy, nervous, everyday people transform by just following these principles. They weren't born ready. They built themselves up step by step. If they can, if I can, if a 21-year-old Buffett could, then why not you? Why not you? There is zero reason why you can't be the person who shines when it becomes your turn. So the next time that spotlight hits you and you feel the nerves, you'll remember this. Self-doubt is not invited to this party. You will push through fear by taking action. You will focus on serving. You will flip those nerves and excitement into growth. That's your new story. Not that you can't do anything when it's your turn, but that you show up even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, because that's who you are becoming, a leader who leads, a speaker who speaks, a doer who does. You can do this. In fact, you're going to do this starting now. You're here right now working on yourself, and that already sets you apart from the masses. So I want to acknowledge you for showing up and doing the work to conquer your self-doubt. For the 6 habits that made Steve Jobs an unstoppable entrepreneur, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. Habits make or break you as an entrepreneur. Too many brilliant people never reach their potential because they never build the habits to match their ambition. If you ignore this, you'll keep struggling and start to wonder if you were ever meant to be an entrepreneur